Welcome to the Master Festo podcast. Get ready to be inspired as you get all the tools and secrets on how to master your mind by the mental master herself. She's a speaker, inspirational coach, and author. Here's your host, Isabel Elias, the Queen of Inspiration.
Welcome to my podcast. Thank you. Mastering Your Mind. You're listening to episode 5 on mastering the mind and brain connection. I hear people use the words mind and brain as being synonymous, as if they're one and the same. They are different, and they work together. If you're making that mistake, don't be concerned. This subject has been going on for many years as a debate way back as Aristotle and Socrates. Before we go any further, I need to clear up a widespread myth suggesting that some people are left brain dominant, meaning they are logical and analytical, while right brain individuals are more emotional, intuitive, and creative. Not true. It's a myth. I believe we people made this up because we like to put everything into categories, including people. It's what we're used to doing. We think it helps us deal with ourselves and others. Give it up. Life would work better if we stopped categorizing people. I promise to give you some up-to-date scientific information without all the boring stuff that a brain scientist would be interested in. I'll keep it clear, simple, and interesting so you can actually use and apply the information in your life. Now, I don't claim to be a brain scientist or a medical doctor, but I do know a lot. The mind and brain connection has been my fascination for a long, long time. I've studied this since my college days. Probably so long ago that before many of you were born. The peak of my interest came about 15 years ago when I was certified as a medical hypnotherapist. And as I worked with clients and witnessed their healing, I knew that I could make a difference. Everything I learn and teach is to make a difference in your life. This is my whole purpose. So here's what you can expect from my episodes on mastering your mind. The episodes will be once a week on Tuesday for about 30 minutes. Forgive me if I go over or under the 30 minutes. Still a work in progress when it comes to this podcasting business. Now, during these episodes, I'm going to give you all I've got. And if you get one takeaway, one golden nugget from my episode, I will be happy. Now, I recommend that you listen once, then listen a second, even a third and fourth time, and take notes. I'm going to share some good stuff with you, and I will share some great quotes from people I admire, like Martin Luther King, Maya Angelou, Eckhart Tolle, and more. And by the way, I will have guests for you at times. Here's a question for you. Is the mind located in the brain? Now, if you were to ask any brain surgeon, they'll tell you that the mind is nowhere in the brain. The mind is not physical. The mind is pure vibrating energy. It is non-physical by nature. And it is said that the mind conducts thought faster than the speed of light and retains all experience, whether consciously addressed by the thinker or not. The mind communicates in the language of feeling. Here's a golden nugget. The mind has a profound effect on the energy level of the physical body and has the capacity to heal the physical body. Oh, there is so much power to tap into. When you master your mind, you will experience a whole new world. The mind is indestructible and vast beyond our perception. If we really knew the power of the mind, it would blow our mind. The ancient French philosopher Descartes identified the mind as consciousness and self-awareness with an ability to distinguish itself from the brain. The yogic philosopher Patanjali told us that, quote, when you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person than you ever dreamed yourself to be. Wow. Mahatma Gandhi's words. You can chain me, you can torture me, you can even destroy my body, but you will never imprison my mind. Wow. Can the mind change the structure of the brain? Can a healthy mind lead to a better functioning brain? Think about that as you listen. Let's look at the brain-mind connection. The brain is the motherboard, the storage, the operating system, and the mind is a software program. Look at it that way. Well, here's another crazy example to look at. Let's say, I love stories. Let's say that you're a Martian from another planet, and you know some basic things about Earth. You know that a car can get you from here to there. So, let's have the Martian represent the mind and the car represent the brain. Again, Martian represents the mind, car represents the brain. Now, you're an intelligent Martian and you know how to read human language. So you pick up the manual that shows how to operate the car. And the manual says, put a key in ignition. A photo of the ignition is in the book. No problem. Turn the key to start engine. Wow. Oh, this is great, you think. Engine is going. And the manual says, put hands on steering wheel. So you look around for something that could be a steering wheel. And you put your hands on the rear view mirror. Uh-oh. Manual says, put the gear in R for reverse, if you want to go backward. And with the right foot, step on the gas pedal. The car starts to move. Ooh, this is great, you think. You try to turn the wheels with your hands in the rear view mirror. Bang! Right into a pole. I must have done something wrong, you say to yourself. You read the manual again. And you do the same thing, and bang! Another accident. And you keep doing this until you end up in the hospital with broken bones. The moral of the story is, work on developing a strong, healthy mind, and you will have a better, smarter brain and less accidents. It's time to put your hands on the steering wheel of life. Thank you for listening to that story. Let's identify the most important parts of the brain and their functions. The brain, like the car, is to serve a purpose. The brain is a wiring. It helps us survive. Now, there are two hemispheres to the brain. The left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, and the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. While the two hemispheres have their own domains, they don't have as much influence on personalities as initially thought. You might not be able to refer yourself as left or right brain anymore, but the personality traits are still uniquely part of your brain. It's still true that language is left-oriented and emotions are right-oriented, And it's also true that the lobes of the brain have specific jobs. But there is no scientific evidence that suggests that a person's left or right brain is stronger than the other. Now, the middle and largest part of the brain, the cerebrum, governs your sense of hearing, ability to recognize others, emotions, reasonings, and long-term memory. The lower backside of the brain, the cerebellum, governs balance, coordination, our ability to walk and stand up straight, and some language. Oh, here's a very interesting story that came from reports from neurosurgeons in China. A 24-year-old woman came into the hospital complaining of dizziness. After several examinations and scans, the doctors were astonished to find that the woman was missing her cerebellum. After closer examination, it seemed to be true that this was not some computer imaging malfunction and that the woman had actually been born without a cerebellum. Considering all of the different functions that this structure is responsible for, it was amazing to see that this woman is alive and able to function as a normal human being. Now, the doctors did note that she didn't learn to walk until she was about 7 years old, but this woman was living a relatively normal life. In fact, she is happily married with a daughter. Now, this case exemplifies the limitless powers of the brain and mind. It really does. The limitless power of the mind and brain connection. The mind and brain connection. The fact that she was able to have cognitive abilities, move and communicate without a cerebellum, that's miraculous. Now, there are so many possibilities and chances to see things that you never thought were scientifically possible due to the mind and brain connection. Maybe the two questions I posed earlier can be answered in this story. Can the mind change the structure of the brain? Can a healthy mind lead to a better functioning brain? Things that make you go, interesting. Now I'm going to focus on the teen brain. If you're raising a teenager, you must, underline must, pay attention, special attention to what I'm about to present. And if you're not raising a teenager, you and I were once teenagers. So this is important for you to understand this part of yourself. This is all about self-awareness. Self-awareness, baby. The frontal lobe, located at the front of the brain, controls personality, problem solving, concentration, decision-making, planning, emotional reactions, and social cognition. Wow, that's a lot. And the frontal lobe does not mature until the late 20s, sometimes earlier. By 30, in most cases, the frontal lobe has matured. So what does this mean about your teen? His or her brain has not fully developed. But this doesn't mean that the teenage brain is a half-done adult brain, and it doesn't mean that the teenage brain is defective. The teenage brain has a specific purpose in the development of the brain. Here's a golden nugget. It allows for enormous strides in thinking and socialization. In many ways, the teen years are the healthiest time of life. The immune system, the resistance to cancer, the tolerance to extreme weather, and other traits are at their greatest. But it also makes teens vulnerable to dangerous behaviors, risk-taking, sensation-seeking, turning away from parents, peer pressure, short-range thinking, and out-of-control emotions. Knowing that the frontal lobe is under construction may help parents from overreacting when their daughter dyes her hair pink. I'm going to tell one on myself. As a teenager, I was rebellious. At 16, I dyed my hair pink. That made my mom furious. At 17, I got pregnant and had to drop out of school. Whoa, this crushed my mom. You know, as I recall her reaction to the pink hair and the pregnancy, the reactions were about the same. I believe what saved me in my teen years was not getting into alcohol and drugs. I didn't like the taste of alcohol, and drugs scared me. I saw a friend die of an overdose. Here's some good news. Behavioral interventions could gradually modify the behavior of your teen. This offers optimism. Focus on harnessing the talents and passions of your teen. Encourage them to challenge their thoughts. Speak about the skills they want for their future and let them know that they can craft a future that will be dramatically different from today. Speak to their inner self and not their brain. Speak to their inner self and not their brain. But if your teen has some serious mental disorders or addictions, you must get professional help immediately. Don't wait. Most deaths and illnesses are due to drug overdose, alcohol poisoning, car accidents from being intoxicated, and sexually transmitted disease. So my advice for parents is don't blame yourself. Your teen's developing the frontal lobe. It's just not mature yet. It's not your fault. Now, if it's just about pink hair, let it go and give time for the brain to mature. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that, and I hope that I was able to give you something to take away, something that will help you understand the mind and brain connection. The more we know about ourselves, self-awareness, the better we will be at living a good, healthy life. Life is sweet when you have mastered mind and brain connection. I look forward to our next episode on Mastering Your Mind. Visit my website, masterfesto.com, and check out my books.
From author Isabel Elias comes the book Master Festo, The Joy of Mastery, available on Amazon. This must-read book offers you the possibility to get on a journey of mastery, a life journey with no finish line, a journey where joy is the foundation. Many have mastered something in life, but few people experience joy in their mastery. Mastery without joy can be hard and sometimes unfulfilling. Mastery with joy is done with grace and ease. Master Festo, The Joy of Mastery, is a blueprint to create your own mastery and bring joy to that mastery. You will work on mastering areas of your life that are most important: self-awareness, physical health, emotional health, mental well-being, spirituality, and being of service. You will read the stories of ordinary people expressing their extraordinary accomplishments. You will not be able to put this book down, and you will want to read it several times. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Master Festo, The Joy of Mastery, from author Isabel Elias, available in Kindle and paperback.
If you want to send me a personal message, drop me an email, isabel@masterfesto.com. Now, please comment on your takeaway from this episode. I love reading your comments. Ask at least 3 of your friends to listen to my podcast. Spread the inspiration and subscribe. That's very important. Thank you. Until next week, I leave you with the words of Albert Einstein. There are only 2 ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle.